So, I guess I should start by saying that I never thought I'd be one of those people who ended up feeling this way about my mother-in-law. I had always hoped that my relationship with her would be a warm and loving one, that she would be an important part of my life and a guiding presence for my partner and me as we started our own family. But, as with so many things, reality turned out to be vastly different. I'm 28, and my partner is 27. We've been together for nearly 6 years, and for the most part, our relationship has been solid. We became first-time parents to a beautiful baby girl just 3 months ago, and as you can imagine, life has been a whirlwind of emotions and changes. This year has been intense, to say the least. On top of adjusting to parenthood, we bought a fixer-upper house while I was still pregnant, which was both exciting and terrifying. Every single penny we had went into renovating that place. Our lives turned into a montage of us sleeping on a mattress on the floor, surviving weeks without a functioning bathroom, and dealing with leaky plumbing. But despite all the challenges, we powered through it together. I felt like this was one of those defining moments, you know? We'd taken on a big challenge and gotten through it, and I thought that maybe, just maybe, it would be a turning point for us as a family. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law had other plans. Ever since the beginning of my relationship with my partner, she has been a point of contention. She's never been openly hostile, but there's always been this edge to her, like she was constantly trying to assert herself and sow seeds of doubt between my partner and me. I think, on some level, she's always been jealous. Maybe it's because her family is quite small, it's just her sister, my partner's aunt, and her grandson. She dotes on my partner and always seemed to resent me for taking up more of his time and attention. But still, I tried to keep the peace. I encouraged my partner to spend time with her and tried to maintain a cordial relationship. I wanted to believe we could all be a happy family. The warning signs were there from the beginning, though. For instance, while we were in the process of buying our house, my mother-in-law tried to convince my partner to put the house solely in his name. This was while I was pregnant, mind you, and we were planning a future together. It was hurtful, and we argued about it, but I managed to brush it off eventually, thinking that she was just being overprotective. Then there was the time she tried to plan a mother-son trip to Italy, which was strange enough, but it also happened to be right after we'd planned a trip to Turkey together. She insisted it was something they'd talked about for years, though my partner assured me it was never a serious plan. Still, it felt like a slap in the face, as if she wanted to undermine our plans and make sure she still had some control. But none of this could have prepared me for what happened when I asked her to babysit our daughter for the first time. I've always assumed that, like my own family, her family would be thrilled to have a chance to bond with our baby. I come from a large Turkish family, and children are cherished in our culture. My family would move mountains to spend time with my little girl, so I figured my mother-in-law and her sister would feel the same way. I should have known better. I had to go back to work, and it was time to test the waters with family babysitters. My mother-in-law was supposed to watch our daughter on Wednesday, with her sister, my partner's aunt, stepping in on Thursday. My mother-in-law had been a bit anxious about taking care of a baby alone, so we agreed that her sister would join her for the first day to make it easier. Honestly, I was nervous. Leaving my daughter for the first time felt monumental, and I think any new mom can understand that feeling of helplessness and anxiety. I had packed a bag full of everything my daughter could possibly need, written out a detailed list of do's and don'ts, and tried to cover every conceivable situation. My partner's mom, though, has always been a bit resistant to other people's instructions. She likes to do things her way, even when it's not necessarily the best way. I tried to put my worries aside, but deep down, I knew there was a risk that things wouldn't go smoothly. By mid-morning on the first day, I couldn't help myself. I called to check in. I thought I'd just hear a quick "everything's fine," but instead, I was met with a barrage of accusations from my mother-in-law. She told me that I wasn't providing enough nutrients for my daughter through breastfeeding and that it was my fault she was hungry. My heart sank. Here I was, a new mom doing everything I could to make sure my baby was healthy and fed, and she was criticizing my milk supply? I told her that I was exclusively breastfeeding and that I could come over to bring more milk if she thought it was needed. I was ready to drop everything and head over, but she wouldn't listen. She brushed off my offer and continued with her comments, acting like I was neglecting my own child. Then she dropped another bombshell: she hadn't applied the diaper cream I'd provided. I had specifically instructed her to use it to prevent diaper rash, but she said it was unnatural and unnecessary. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I reiterated to her that the diaper cream was important and even sent a picture of what diaper rash could look like if left untreated. I tried to emphasize that I was the mom, and I needed her to follow my instructions for the sake of my baby's well-being. But instead of respecting my wishes, she doubled down. She accused me of being ungrateful, of not appreciating her help, and insisted that she wouldn't be babysitting anymore if I didn't trust her. I could feel my frustration boiling over, but I stayed calm and told her that if she wasn't willing to follow our parenting guidelines, then maybe it was best if she didn't babysit again. It was a hard thing to say, but I felt it was necessary. This was my child's health and well-being on the line, and I wasn't going to let anyone, even my partner's mother, put her at risk. My partner's mom reacted in a way I never expected. She went so far as to call my own mother, telling her that she feared I'd never let her see her granddaughter again and even suggesting that I might sue her over this. It was absurd and completely unfounded. I had only set a boundary, not banned her from seeing my daughter. I tried to explain to her that I just needed her to respect our choices as parents, and that she was always welcome to spend time with our daughter, as long as she could follow our guidelines. But apparently, that wasn't enough. My mother-in-law made it clear that she thought I was the one who had crossed a line. She told my mother that I owed her an apology, that I had acted ungratefully, and that I was making a big deal out of nothing. It hurt more than I can express. Here I was, doing my best to protect my daughter and set healthy boundaries, and instead, I was being painted as the villain in my own family story. The next day, it was my partner's aunt's turn to babysit. I had a feeling that after the drama with my mother-in-law, things might not go as planned. Sure enough, my partner's aunt backed out, citing her physical health as a concern. It was clear to me that she had been influenced by her sister's reaction, and rather than cause more tension, she decided it was best to remove herself from the situation. I respected her decision, but it left me feeling even more isolated. I couldn't shake the sense that my mother-in-law had sabotaged what could have been a loving, supportive environment for my daughter. I wanted my baby to be surrounded by family, to know her grandparents and aunt. But now, that vision was fading, replaced by a sense of betrayal and mistrust. After everything that happened, I had a difficult conversation with my partner. I told him that I no longer felt comfortable having his mom around our daughter unsupervised. I wasn't trying to make an ultimatum, I was just trying to express my fears and frustrations. He's caught in the middle, trying to keep the peace, but he's been supportive of me setting boundaries. Still, it's a difficult position for him, and I can tell he's struggling with the tension between his mother and me. I know I should probably try to make amends, but I can't shake the feeling that my mother-in-law crossed a line. She not only disregarded my parenting decisions but also spread baseless accusations about me to my own mother, stirring up even more drama. Now she's waiting for an apology, convinced that we are the ones who've wronged her. The hardest part is questioning whether I overreacted. Was this all my fault? Was my anxiety over leaving my baby for the first time clouding my judgment? Maybe I was too harsh, too quick to put up a wall, but I can't ignore the way she treated me or the risks she took with my daughter's health. So here I am, torn between wanting to protect my family and wondering if I went too far. Part of me wants to reach out, to try to mend the rift, but another part of me feels like this was the last straw. I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust her again.